When I first saw the announcement trailer for Stray back in 2020, I wasn't sure if I was going to play it. Frankly, I wrote it off as a walking simulator with a cat. I don't like to admit that, but it's true. However, following its release, the critical praise it was receiving piqued my interest. I looked at the $30 price tag and thought, what the hell, let's give it a shot, and oh boy am I glad that I did. Stray is BlueTwelve Studios' first outing, and after playing it, I can see why Annapurna Interactive and Sony decided to publish it and pay for timed exclusivity. This little adventure game has a deep, philosophical story to tell, and its intuitive and cleverly designed gameplay is paired fantastically. Visually, Stray is a fancy feast for the eyes, despite some little hiccups. Plus, the soundtrack and sound design are superb. Watch your step, little outsider. This is my review of Stray. After a nice day with its feline fellows, a stray cat slips and falls into an underground city. Once its wounds are healed, the cat is led by lights to a lab where an artificial intelligence needs help being installed in a body. After some assistance, the AI known as B12 informs the cat that it used to be a scientist's aide but lost most of its memory. Together, they embark on a journey to recover B12's memories, uncover secrets, and escape the underground city. Along the way, they encounter some friendly faces and some that wish to halt their efforts. I really enjoyed Stray's story, however, there's some suspension of disbelief required. For instance, I don't know too many cats that lose their balance or slip and fall. Also, I'm not sure if this cat is incredibly smart or if luck is on its side, well, except when it fell into the underground city. But maybe this whole situation is being orchestrated by fate or the universe, I don't know. But you kind of have to surrender to this mystery because there are some innate qualities that left me with questions. If you can do that, you're in for a spectacular little story that tugs at your heartstrings, fills your mind with wonder, and tantalizes your sensibilities with philosophical speculation. This 2 to 4 hour adventure game is filled with lovable characters, superb environmental storytelling, and is guided by a plot that's shrouded in mystery, all while featuring some uniquely crafted gameplay mechanics and intuitive, wide linear adventure game design. It's no secret that in Stray you play as a cat. However, BlueTwelve Studio tailored most, if not all, gameplay mechanics to fit the characteristics of being a cat. Platforming is built around how a cat would navigate the environment. Additionally, puzzle solving often involves a gameplay mechanic leveraging cat-like behavior. Behavior like knocking things off elevated ledges, scratching at doors to get someone's attention, and rubbing up on an NPC's legs to garner their affection. The player is joined by a robot pal named B12. The drone-like companion translates spoken and written language for the player, stores key items needed to interact with the world, and can hack computers to solve puzzles. The robot's memories are rediscovered while progressing through the chapters, which feel similar to audio logs from other games. Additionally, the underground city is populated with android-like companions. The player can find objects within the world to interact with the NPCs on a deeper level. Going out of your way to help a companion will often reward you with something you need to progress the story, but never is there anything except context clues and the thrill of exploration that would drive the player to discover this. Lastly, there are enemies called Zurks and Sentinels. Zurks are alien-like creatures that will eat you if you're not quick enough. Most sections with Zurks ask you to avoid them entirely until you're able to fight back. Sentinels are security drones that monitor restricted areas. If sighted, you must flee or be shot down. Each of these enemies' attack patterns is enriched with puzzles that ask you to cleverly exploit them. I think BlueTwelve Studio designed Stray's gameplay quite well. Nothing feels out of place and the adventure elements are intuitively designed. I never felt lost or like I needed to hunt around for what to do next. Everything flowed quite nicely and I felt compelled to do everything on offer without being told I needed to do it. I didn't necessarily feel siloed into a linear path, but the wide linear design naturally guides the player. Most interactions benefit the narrative, and even what doesn't serves to immerse the player in the environment. The only areas I feel could be expanded are the interactions with enemies. What is in the game is quite good, albeit shallow. More puzzles involving enemies would be a fantastic addition. Aside from the story and gameplay, the visuals in Stray are excellent. The characters are memorable at a glance, and that even extends to the robot companions. Each has its own visual flair, which makes one stand out from another. The cyberpunk aesthetic is on full display. While I think the cyan and magenta neon lights are a bit played out at this point, BlueTwelve nailed the dank underground futuristic look. Additionally, the game doesn't budge from its 60 frames per second frame rate, and the visual settings include a motion blur slider, which is always appreciated. I did notice some technical hiccups, but nothing game breaking. For example, very early on in the game, I was interacting with some cats, and one just wasn't there. However, the option to interact with the cat was. When I pressed triangle, it appeared, but the hiccups still hadn't gone away. It's not game breaking, but worth mentioning, as little things like this happened periodically throughout the experience. Also, the soundtrack and audio design are one of Stray's strongest aspects. The music has a lo-fi groove that sets the cadence for exploration, and the smaller touches elevate the experience. For example, if you decide to take a cat nap, you can hear the low purr of the stray cat coming through the DualSense controller. However, there's no voice acting in the game that I can recall. The exposition is more akin to Banjo-Kazooie's little sound effects while text boxes are presented to the player. Considering the main character is a literal cat, I think this is totally fine. I really enjoyed Stray. Its story is deep and philosophical, the gameplay is amusing, compelling, and expertly crafted, plus the audio and visuals on display are fantastic. I wouldn't be surprised if BlueTwelve wins at least one award for Stray come award show season. The only real critiques I have for this game are the suspension of disbelief that kicks off the story, and that the encounters with enemies could be expanded upon, as they felt a little shallow. Additionally, the visual hiccups I mentioned earlier pulled me out of the deep immersion the game otherwise accomplished. For those looking for a review score, I think Stray is a 4 out of 5. It's an excellent little game whose shortcomings are mostly overshadowed by what it does right. Stray doesn't overstay its welcome, it has an interesting story to tell, it's entertaining to play, and it stimulates the eyes and ears. When you consider the $30 price tag, it's a no-brainer to play over a weekend and revisit for the Platinum Trophy. If you made it this far, thank you so much for your time and attention, it means the world to me. If you enjoy reviews like this, retrospectives, the occasional opinion piece, and long-form review discussions and spoiler casts, subscribe to the channel. I have a lot planned and an owned backlog of over 90 games to play, so there's plenty of content in the pipeline. Again, thank you so much for watching, lead with love, and stay hydrated.